Welcome back. An ancient Chinese proverb states that if you want 1 year of prosperity, grow grain. If you want 10 years of prosperity, grow trees. But if you want 100 years of prosperity, grow people. Making a Difference paid a visit to Kaura, an agricultural area of the country, and spoke with farmers and community leaders Michael Cumberbatch and Keith Hordat. Let's look at some of the challenges facing small farmers and some of the surprising opportunities being created to establish food security in Trinidad and Tobago, not only in Kaura, but also in Mova. Okay, this is Felipe Noguera, and we are in the foothills of Kaura, the Kaura River Valley, right in El Dorado. And actually, these are government apartment complexes, and I'm speaking with my brother Keith Hordat, an engineer who is using the available space, much like the Cubans do in Havana, getting the residents of this compound to grow their own food and become self-sufficient. In the background, you have melangen or baigan, you have plantain, you have corn, and to my right, you have new sprouts of tomatoes. And what is that there going up on the hill there, Keith?
That's baigan as well. You have some sorrel in between.
Oh, so Keith, so what motivated you to undertake this project, and how long has it been going on?
I think it's just something that's naturally in us, my friends and I, Andre and Jerry, something we enjoy doing, and at the end of the day produces food on a small scale. It's just, a hobby type scale, but we'd encourage everyone to do the same, grow what you eat and eat what you grow. I think it's a good way for us to really demonstrate our first world capability, feed ourselves.
This is Felipe Noguera for Making a Difference in our economic space here in Tumbasong. Tumbasong is deep into the hills of Kaura. If you look around, you see the plush vegetation. We're speaking to brother Vivian Howard, who is a farmer who is working this land. How you doing, Vivian? Nice to see you, brother. And I like the work you're doing here with the babadine and
and papaw and other stuff. So we grow up here. Then the ecosystem up here does help us out a lot due to the green environment. And we want to keep it that way by maintaining it. And one of the main things too we just deal with is pest management.
How you deal with that?
Then that is integrated pest management is managing the pests by not destroying all the pests.
So you use some as predators
yes,
against the others?
By pointing them out. By seeing the beneficial ones and leaving the beneficial ones. By seeing the harmful ones and getting rid of the harmful ones. By using the same insect.
So you're using this as a base, you're using the technique you're using as trial and error? Or you know that from experience?
I know that from experience, from the natural ecosystem we have.
What would you say are the main challenges facing the community, the people in Kaura and in Tumbasong in particular?
Okay, then one of the main challenges is the access funding for things for farming.
Like what?
Like seedlings, the proper chemicals, proper equipment, mist blowers, spray cans, power saw, whackers, plowers and all these things. Because the farmers then doesn't have the funds to really get these equipment. So it'll be hard on them and they have to use more manual labor and production will be lower.
What are some of the challenges you face as a farmer here in Kaura, in Tumbasong, that would help you to become more productive as a farmer?
All right, proper draining number one, proper seedlings, chemicals like coastside, fostogen, things like barnut for the roots, the melting, and all this other stuff. That's the main thing we need. I just try to encourage plenty of them because I know it makes sense because the farming have plenty issues to do with the people. We have shortage on food in the country, many other things, but it's hard for some of them to come because, farmers are thing, you have to know it and be in it to know the kind of work and the issue it give out. And otherwise than that, you will just be like spreading top and mud. You dig?
What is the real opportunity that we have in Trinidad and Tobago to make a difference using agriculture, using farming, and how do we motivate our youth to get more involved in this kind of economic activity?
Well, again, to my mind, the best way we can demonstrate ourselves as first world is by first and foremost feeding ourselves. All right, if we're able to do that, we try to do it at mega farms and everything else, which works to a certain degree. But if we can encourage the population on a whole, on whatever scale, to get into agriculture, it's a form of therapy, it's a nice lifestyle.
I'm a weekend farmer. Yes, and I like it, and I will encourage youth to do the same thing. You know, you plant your garden and your free time, you could do some nice gardening.
What about transportation, getting your produce from the farm, from the field, out to the market? What kind of challenges that pose for you?
And it'll be a big challenge because we doesn't have the transportation because we doesn't have enough money to buy the transportation. So we need that type of assistance for transportation, especially in this area because there's a good bit of mileage to the market.
How do we make sure when you're spraying your produce to keep away pests, we're not poisoning ourselves?
Then the way forward right now we looking to go as farmers is then the safe type of farming. I practicing safe practices.
Was that organic farming?
Organic farming. That is using things like Nemex, using different chemicals like python, like fungicide, and using different natural things like seaweed and other organic chemicals where they're starting to flow through the market. So I will advise anybody in the future to go towards the organic format of farming.
And we're speaking to a visitor. Her name is Eileen. And Eileen, thanks for agreeing to say hello to us. But tell us from your observations of Kaura and of Tumbasong, what are some of the conditions, some of the changes that need to be made from your perspective?
One thing is you have a paradise here, and people not everybody anyway, appreciates what they have. When people come to the river, they tend to bring stuff with them to cook, and they don't take it away with them. So
they leave garbage.
They leave a lot of garbage, a lot of litter, and I feel if you could bring it with you, why not take it home? When I first came here 13 years ago, I fell in love with this country. It's literally a paradise. You have everything here. And if everybody felt the same way, they would take care of it, because one day you won't have it.
Brother Vivian, you were telling us about a certain spiritual attitude you have to be successful as a farmer, especially when you don't have the optimal conditions. You don't have all the tools and the seeds and the drainage that you need. So describe that attitude, that spiritual attitude a little bit more for our viewers.
It's like working with the elements and working with nature. And nature is working with where you have harmony and putting everything in place with the proper nature and the proper harmony. Everything supposed to fall in place. And the spiritual aspect of it is basically part of that, because sometimes you sow a seed and you're not sure it will burst, but you have to be mentally fit enough and spiritually fit enough to assure that seed will burst and groom it to how you want it to come.
Welcome to Making a Difference. Where did you come from today?
I came from Palmis in San Fernando.
Palmis, and you came all the way here to share your experience, your joy, your love with these brothers here who are trying to make a difference in agriculture for people in Trinidad and Tobago. Tell us, you had a very interesting experience yesterday. We're going to see some of the photographs in a moment, but tell us a little bit about what you've been doing, and that will serve as a background for you to speak to these brothers.
Right. Well, I suppose I should let the brothers know, and yourself, that I have a family history of about 150 years in agriculture. And although I went into the industry, I'm back home. I'm back home doing something which I could take up from Vivian. If you don't see beyond the immediate, you will not do agriculture. And let me make a statement to back him up. The greatest risk takers in Trinidad